everyone, and welcome back to this episode of the Survival Prep Roundtable. My name is Jason, and over to my left is Mr. Adam Bradbury. He is the, supervisor, the creator of Roughing It Survivors Journal. How you doing, Adam?
And the star of the show.
And the star of the show, yes.
I'm doing good,
I like
man.
your last episode, which was you and your dog.
Yeah, he goes everywhere with me, man. He's actually laying right here, right here next to me. He's always at my feet.
All right, and then I should probably take it off myself while other people are talking. Over to my right is Mr. Kyle Santee. He's our newbie and our guinea pig when we want to, harass and beat somebody up. That's who we go to. So I want to let you guys know, if you're new to Survival and Prep, don't worry, you're in good company. Kyle is also new to this. Kyle, are you there?
He's messing with us. You messing with us, Kyle?
He's holding up hands.
Unmute it yourself.
Yeah. All right. Next to Kyle, we'll just move on.
I can go last.
There you go.
All right, there you go.
Is my man, Mr. Michael Caldwell. He's the co-host of the Evolution of the Apocalypse podcast, another great podcast about survival and horror films. You know, all that good jazzy stuff there.
All that good fun stuff. And I gotta say, me and Adam rocking the tack vest tonight. So, gotta say, gotta put it out there.
That's right. We're like those
Kyle,
paranoid
are
guys.
you talking yet?
Yes, I am. I just wanted to go last.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Well, I want to let everybody know this is our second episode, and this episode is going to be dealing with bug-out bags. And, you know, we hear so much about bug-out bags and what to put in your bug-out bag. There's websites everywhere about these 72-hour bags, these bug-out bags. And it's really... It's not so much of the what to put in your bug-out bag. For me, it's more of the why to put stuff into your bug-out bag. And so we're going to be talking about that. But first, some information. We do have a website that is currently under construction. You can visit our homepage at survivalpreptv.com, where we will have all of our videos, our podcasts, articles that we find, stuff that we put up. Everything will go right into there. Survivalpreptv.com. And also leave feedback by going or emailing us at feedback@survivalpreptv.com. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/survivalpreppodcast or survival. Just find us on Facebook.
Google us.
Google us, yes. And then finally, you can also leave your voice on the podcast by calling us at 507-339-PREP. That's awesome. 507-339-PREP, which is 7737. All right. Into bug-out bags. And there's a lot of different definitions of bug-out bags, so I kind of want to go down the list on what you consider to be a bug-out bag. We'll start with Adam. What do you consider as a bug-out bag?
Well, really anything that'll get you through 72 hours and maybe more, but you really want to kind of plan for 72 hours. You know, food, a little bit of food, water, or the means of getting water, getting and transporting water, and the means of, obviously, fire, shelter, and, and all the other stuff really is just accessories, I guess you could say.
All right. Michael, we'll go to you next.
Okay, so to me, the bug-out bag is, you know, a lifeline. It's something that's going to help you live, you know, when you really dive into it. It's something that you need to have, that's going to have the essentials to get you through, like Adam said, the initial 72 hours and beyond. So a little bit of food, a little bit of, you know, like Adam said, water, or a way to clean water, a way to purify water, and the tools you need to help you, get through that time.
All right, Kyle?
Yeah, just what everybody else is saying, the 72 hours, it's something that can get you from point A to point B. Well, really, point B to point A is the next place that you want to get to make sure that your chances of surviving are better.
All right. And what I normally consider as a bug out bag is it is the one thing, I'm holding up my finger for people watching the video, one thing that you can grab when you have to rush out of your house or where you're staying at that moment.
Yep.
So for me, if I have time to pack and I have time to leave, I'm going to load up my car with everything that I think I will need for longer than 72 hours. But if I have to, the tidal wave is coming in, the zombies are knocking at the door, the Russians have just started skydiving in, and I can only grab one thing, that would be the bug out bag. That is my one thing that covers everything I need for at least 72 hours.
Yep. At least.
Yep.
Has to be at least.
And that's why I say you try to plan for more, or the means of getting, have enough to survive for 72 hours, but be able to hunt, get water, have fire, have shelter for, however long you need until you can, if stuff's really bad, you can survive for longer.
Yeah, the tools. You need the tools,
Yep.
You need the equipment to get you through that time.
Not only that, the knowledge.
True. You need to know how to use the things in your bag. Know where they are in your bag.
Mm-hmm.
And knowledge is a really big one. So we're going to kind of talk about the why stuff is in our bag. And one of the whys that I'm going to talk about is, and I didn't bring everything out of my bug out bag. I know, Kyle, you kind of said that you have everything kind of strewn behind you.
Well, not really everything, but I just grabbed what if I actually had a legitimate bug out bag, which I don't, so if I actually had a legitimate bug out bag, what I have in my house that I would actually put in it is on my bed right now.
And see, but that's what we're talking about. We all have stuff in our house that we would grab and take with us. The problem is we don't have time to run around and grab it.
Right.
And that's where the bug out bag comes in. So I actually have multiples of stuff because, like, real quick, I have a butane stove in there.
Yep.
But I also have a butane backpacking stove.
Yep.
And so the butane stove that's in there is not the same stove that I take backpacking because I may forget to put it back.
Yep.
True.
You know what? Before we go what's inside, Kyle brought up a really good point. What should your bag be? And this is where, a lot of people have, this comes down to personal preference, and I think between the four of us, we're going to have 4 different versions of what the bag is. So again, starting to my left on here, let's talk with Adam. What do you use as your enclosure, as the bag itself for your bug out bag?
I actually got it right here, and you guys have probably seen it in my videos. It's a Field Line Pro Series. It's got, it's not very big, but it's very comfortable. It's got nice padded straps. It's got the belly strap. It's got the chest strap. I'm a minimalist, and this is something that I was, wanting to bring up. You don't need a lot of stuff as long as you know how to make do with what you have in there. I try to keep a minimum amount of stuff in my bag, but I know that I can last a good 2 weeks probably out of just what's in this bag in most situations.
Yeah.
So,
Kyle?
but it's got a big pouch. It's got 2 small pouches. It's got places all over it to hang stuff. So sorry. Go ahead, Kyle.
I'm actually going to throw this.
I thought you were done.
No, that's cool.
I'm going to throw it over to Mike because we have the same bag, and I don't know what it's called.
All right. So, originally I was using a Camelback Mule backpack, but I realized it was too small. It wasn't big enough for what I needed, so I turned that into my everyday carry bag. What I picked up was an NC Star Vism backpack, or Nexstar, however you want to say it. I picked it up off Amazon as like a trial bag, and I tell you what,
Was it like
money-
$30, $35 or something like that?
Yep, like $35, and for the money, it's one of the best bags I've ever bought, and I'll put it up there with Condor, Maxpedition for a quarter of the cost. This thing has tons of space. It's got the chest strap, it's got the waist strap, it's got tons of pockets, it's got the MOLLE attachments all over the bottom, the back, the sides. It's got a grab top. If I had it here, I'd show it to you, but it's in the other room. It's got the pull. You can pull it up handle. Kyle's probably got his right there. I have the ACU digital camo. It's a really nice bag, and I tell you, and it's got padded straps. It's just an amazing bag for the price. You really can't beat it.
Not really sure how well you guys could see that, but
Yeah, that's a nice bag.
If you go on my Facebook page or the website, it's on there. I mean, it's a really, or you could just check it out on Amazon. Matt's actually got the same one because we had people asked us, what bag to go with, and I've been telling everybody to go with that bag for the price. I put it through hell. And that's one of the things that was one of my tests with it. I loaded it up with stuff. I've taken it out. I've done 5K walks with it. I mean, it'll hold up, and that's important.
And that's one of the things that I guess a lot of people are concerned about with cheaper equipment like that is how well is it going to hold up. In my last video, I did the saddlebag thing for my dog, and I mean I only paid like $12 I think for that, and the bags itself are great, but the straps, they don't really stay tightened. So I know on a lot of the cheaper stuff like that maybe the stitching's not as well. So it's good to hear good things about cheaper equipment. A lot of people put it down.
Yeah, and like I said, it was a trial pack that I picked up. I was like, you know what? Let me give it a shot. $35. Let me give it a shot. Now there is the only downside to the bag is where the straps attached to the bag. It's single stitched. Now, I haven't had no problems with the stitching coming undone, but I have heard people say that stitching can come undone. But easy remedy to that is just if you know how to sew or know somebody that sews, double stitch it yourself. Just run a stitch through it and you're done. And I would compare it right up there with, like I said, $100 bag. I mean, it's that good, and it also accepts a hydration pack too, which is cool.
Nice.
Yep. So for my bag, and I also don't have my bag in the room with me right now, but I actually use an older backpacking. I'm an avid backpacker, so I have a couple backpacking backpacks that rather than going out and buying something special just for my bug out bag, I took one of my weekend backpacks, my 3-day rated backpacks, and use that, and it works great. It's got multiple compartments to it. It's got all of the room to fit all of my gear. It's got a place for a hydration pack. It's got straps for the waist, the chest. It balances really well. I'm a fan of simple internal backpacking backpacks. So you have external frames, which are the kind that people see where they have big bars on the outside, and you have internal. I like the internal frame backpacks, and that's what I use, and it works well for me.
Yeah,
so
I actually. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say I originally had one of the Army backpacks with the external frame and all that stuff, and I thought it was cool because it was big. I was like, I can fit everything in there. And man, I tell you what, it was really uncomfortable because I'm used to just the standard backpack style, or as Jason said, the internal frame style.
Definitely.
So,
the one thing I did do to my bag to alter it a little bit is because it doesn't have a frame to it. I actually I have a sleeping bag. It's like a consolidated sleeping bag, but I stand it up inside my bag, and that actually holds it up as a frame almost to the bag. So when I set the bag down, it'll actually stand straight up.
Oh, that's neat. That's a good idea.
Cool.
I mean, it's just something that I was thinking about. All right, how can I use what I have in my bag to make the bag, with almost like you're saying, with a frame, without having a frame.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think what it comes down to is it doesn't necessarily matter what your bag is, as long as it works for you, and it's something that you can easily carry. So with that, what I would suggest is, don't get. You can, by all means, I guess, if for the time being, if you don't have a backpack, by all means get a duffel bag and throw your stuff in there to keep it. But ideally what I suggest is I like something that has straps to walk with, because you never know when you're going to walk.
Yeah.
And you want something that you can carry.
Even if you use just a regular backpack. I mean, if you can get what you need in there, you feel like you can survive off of in a regular backpack, go ahead with it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't have to break the bank to build a bug-out bag, you know? And that's one of the, I think, misconceptions that people have, is they think a bug-out bag, they have to spend, you know, $100 for the bag and $500 in equipment in there. I mean, I've probably built my bag, the entire thing, for less than $200.
Yep.
And a lot of the stuff you can actually find around your house. It's stuff that you're going to use. It's stuff that you use every day.
Yeah.
Or, as I put it, think about when the lights go out or the electricity goes out. Mm-hmm. What is the stuff that you reach for? Where do you go? Generally, you tend to go to the garage, or you go to the basement, or wherever you keep that type of stuff. That's the stuff that you generally put in there.
Yeah.
So speaking of inside, first thing that Adam talked about was food and water. So let's talk about food and water as one whole thing. What do you put in your bag, and why do you put it in there, Adam?
In mine, I've got, there again, get it out, this Berkey bottle. I actually did a video on this. This is great. I used to keep 2 full bottles of filtered water in my bag, and by putting this in there, I can get 160 fills out of this, out of nasty pond water, and be completely safe. So with that, I was able to get a little bit of weight off of it. I've also got a little life straw in there, and I
need to get one of them.
And then a bottle of filtered water. So, and then obviously, you know, I have a mess kit in there, so with that I can actually boil water, you know, with the fire that I make. So if I have to, as long as I have a container to transport the water, that's all you need.
I'm going to jump to myself and just go right down the line. For me, for water and for food, so for water, what I keep in there is I have a bottle very similar to Adam's Berkey bottle that has a filter built in. And so I travel around with that, so I can take regular pond water or any water that I come across and fill that up. The other thing that I like to do, because something mental in me doesn't feel like filters are biologically safe, and I'm going to just go off that. Remember, when you have water, the main thing that you have to do is make it biologically safe. So you need to get out the microbes, the protozoas, and the bacteria. If you're in North America, you don't really have to worry about viruses unless there's a zombie outbreak. Then there might be some viruses in there. But protozoas would be Giardia. I want to say sarsaparilla, but that's not it. What is it? It's
there's Cryptosporidium.
That's it. Thank you. Sarsaparilla. Yeah, that too.
I'm nerdy.
Though that's the stuff that you want to get out, and for me, filters get that out really well. Bacteria is a lot smaller than that, and even though 0.3 microns is small enough to get out bacteria, I still like to take it a step further. So what I do is I will actually use a thing, and I wish I would have grabbed it for show and tell today, but I'll show it on another episode, called the SteriPen.
Yep.
And what this does is this doesn't kill the bacteria or the microbes in there. What it does is the way I like to think of it as is it gives them a really bad sunburn, and it makes it so that they can't multiply. So it's not the fact that you're getting these microbes into your body that's hurting you. It's the fact that when they get in your body, they multiply, and it takes about 3 days to start creating problems. What this does is it makes it so they can't multiply, and your stomach acid and your immune system is able to fight them off, and I'm able to go without any problem. I also have a thing of iodine tablets as an absolute last backup.
Yeah,
which Adam's holding some up. Here, go ahead and hold that up for the camera again. I'll switch it to you. There we go.
You can see it.
Yep.
Yeah, Coleman. I mean, actually, go to Walmart. You can get these. You can get the two. It's the neutralizer plus I guess it's the other one's the taste. I think.
The iodine.
Yeah, iodine and then the neutralizing or whatever it is. But you can pick this up as a set for like $5, super cheap, and they're small too.
Now, is that something
See,
that
I have
you?
just the iodine.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go, Kyle.
Is that something that you add after you filter it, or is that something if you can't filter?
The neutralizer is the filter, and then the iodine.
Well,
is
you
the
still want to
taste.
get the big stuff out. You don't want to be trying to eat, drinking pieces of leaf or whatever. So I would, at least use a rag. Go over, take an empty bottle, fill it up with the pond water or whatever you're going to use, and then put a rag over it and empty it into whatever other container. And
then put the drops in.
And then put the drops in. You don't necessarily have to. I mean, it's just a substitution from boiling it, really.
Right.
But any chance you can, you're better off boiling it always. I mean, I've used the Berkey bottle and I've used it in some nasty water. Mike, I know you, and I'm sure you'll get to it. But your stuff, you probably drank the same stuff, and I mean, I drank almost a whole bottle of that, and my wife did too, and we're fine. I mean, it didn't get sick or nothing. So I don't know if it was just sheer coincidence or if it really works. But I've used it in the past too, and it seems to work fine. But that's kind of all part of it too, is using the stuff that you got and going out and testing it. Because I know right now, if I were to get sick, at least I got a hospital I can go to and get treatment. As opposed to waiting until something happens and then you're screwed.
Not having
dead.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Mike, we'll head to you.
right.
What do you got?
So I have a few things in my bag for water purposes. I originally carried a Catadine pump, the Pro Hiker, and it was kind of big and bulky. And since I picked up the McNet that I talked about last week on the show, and I showed you guys, and Kyle's seen it, I carry a Camelback, empty in my bug out bag. So I can put that inline filter through my tube, so it plugs right on. So that's a filter for that. So that's a generic filter. But I also keep an empty canteen attached to the back of my bag, and it has a pouch for the water purification tablets, like Adam was just talking about. And I also have a bandana in my bug out bag, like Adam was saying, in case you need to run that dirty water through something. You have that bandana to run that water through, or if you need that bandana for something else, you can use it, for a lot of different things. But having that with you, so you can get the large elements out, and and my canteen also has the stainless steel canteen cup, which I would prefer to boil it. If I had the option to boil or the tablets or the filter, I'm going to boil it first. Then I would go to the filter and then go to the tablets last. That would probably be my row that I would go in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. That's, to me, the tablets is the last one. Even with the neutralizer, which is supposed to take the taste out, basically all it is vitamin C.
Yeah.
It still tastes gross. I still can't stand the taste of iodine or bleach when I bleach water. So, I will boil water before I use that, but that's my last ditch. I know I'm not going to get sick. I'm on the run kind of disinfectant there. Kyle.
What I use is just what I take on hikes with me. Got the just a canteen that Mike has, except it's black. It's really cool though that it has a piece in there that you can actually use to boil the water in.
The cup.
Yeah, the cup in there. It's in the pouch.
In the pouch. You can pull it out. You can also cook food in there and everything. And you can pick those things up on Amazon. I actually just did a review on evolutionaryapocalypse.com, shameless plug. And I just did a review on the canteen for $15, man. I mean, how can you go wrong? You know what I mean? It comes with the cup and all,
And it keeps it pretty cold. I mean, when I go on a hike, I fill it up with ice and then throw the water in there. And it stays cold for... I went on an 8-mile hike the other day and stayed cold the entire time, so it keeps it nice and cold.
And that's kind of nice, too, that you got... Because there's going to be times where you may not have 2 containers to collect the water and then boil it or filter it into. So it's really nice that that thing's got got both.
Yeah, because then you could fill it up at the pond, bring it up, boil it in the cup, and then drink out of the cup, And that's also why I carry the Camelback empty. It is a way, if I need to transport water, even if it's dirty, I can fill that up and transport it and then boil it later, when I need it.
I would like to get the Berkey, though. That thing's cool.
You do have
but
a
I have
straw,
Mike. Yeah, Mike gave me the life straw.
But there again, and that's one of the reasons that I got the Berkey bottle was because it's container, filter, everything all in one. So
right.
You just fill it up and go, as opposed to the straw. You actually have to have a container.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better than nothing, though.
Definitely.
All right. Real quick on food. I know myself, I do not carry MREs. I don't carry backpacking food. I don't carry meals. What I do carry are high-powered energy bars. And I have enough in there that for myself at least, I know how much energy I need or how much calories I need because I'm a big guy. I've got a lot of fat. I'm still good with that. I can.
I'm right there with you.
I can last a while on 1,000 calories a day. So even hiking. So with that, I carry roughly about 5,000 calories worth of energy bars.
I got to say, I'm that's one of my, I guess, one thing that I'm not as prepared with is the food. I got, an MRE or one of those mountain home meals in there, and I've got like 2 bags of trail mix, which could get me through. But but I know other ways of getting food. Obviously, with my pistol or with even my slingshot, and I can get small game, and I'm pretty well versed on edible plants and stuff like that, vegetation, which isn't necessarily calories, but it can be protein, and there's always insects and stuff like that too. So there's always ways around it. For 72 hours, I mean, you're not going to starve.
No. I carry the Mayday bars. It's sort of like a small, like a shortcake almost, and I think it has 4,000 calories in one bar. So I carry, Kyle's got one there.
Nice.
I carry 2 of those in my bag, and and I'm also a hunter as well, so I can hunt. I don't really rely on. I do have a bag of the Mountain House. You just boil water and pour it in the bag and stir it up. I do keep 1 bag of that in my bag. But I can hunt. I mean, I can kill a squirrel. I can eat a squirrel, rabbit, or a deer if you need be. I mean, there's food
the other
out
thing
there.
to think about is that in many cases you may not even be going to the woods. You may be going someplace that, as bad as it sounds, you can ransack a house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To me, food's not as important as water. Water
Right.
is way more important than food because you don't have to eat every day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And if you're just planning for 72 hours, I mean, you're pretty much getting to, like you guys were saying earlier, point A to point B, and then try to procure your food from there.
I also carry in my bag about 30 feet of fishing line and a couple small hooks just in case I need to. If I'm around a pond or a lake or stream, I can catch a sunny or a bluegill or a crappie and cook it up.
Which I think is one of the nice things about the areas that we all live in is that there's a lot of wildlife, a lot of woods, a lot of water, ponds, stuff like that you can fish in. But there again, man, if you're out in the desert or
Or even in the city.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the city though, still, I mean, you got squirrels, you got rabbits, you got all that stuff, and you don't necessarily have to use a gun. You can use a slingshot or something too, or eat garbage. Who cares? I mean, shit.
Bums live off it, right?
Exactly, man.
Practice with snares. I mean, snares will save your life. I'm going to do a video on snares here real soon because that's a pretty useful tool. If you know how to use them right.
It is. That's something that I've been kind of toying around with too. Is working on skills of snares because there's so many different ways of doing it. And some of them are so simple.
I mean,
you
you
don't
could
really.
even
you don't need anything. You need a twig or a limb and some cord. That's it.
I mean, you could even make one out there. You can use a deadfall. Get a heavy enough rock, tilt that rock up. And
have you ever tried that?
Yes,
I have a hard time with deadfalls. Man, I have busted my knuckles so many times making deadfalls.
They're tricky because you got to use a big enough rock to kill that animal.
And unfortunately, and you're balancing it just right. That you're like, okay, I got it. You let go, and before you can even pull your hands away, it's like a mouse trap.
Yeah.
With your finger underneath it, trying to pull it out before the snap goes off.
It's funny you say mousetrap because a company sent me this kit a while back for us to try out, and inside the kit was a mousetrap, and I thought that's a small little thing you can put in your bag that doesn't take up really no weight, doesn't take up any space, and you can eat mice. I mean,
Yeah,
so
it doesn't sound appetizing, but it's protein.
Yeah, so I thought that was a pretty cool thing that you can throw in your bag to procure food. Is you could even just keep a mousetrap. I mean, and you could even catch a squirrel on a set upright mousetrap. You know what I mean?
Sure.
If you know how to set it up right,
Well, that's the thing about having knowledge. That way, you don't have to carry so much in your bag. If you have a lot of knowledge, like you guys do, you can almost go out without a bag, and you guys would be fine. You know what I mean?
As long as we got some sort of, I mean, obviously there's tools you can make out in the field, but there's a lot of stuff that you can't. But
you need a knife. You can't make a knife out there. That's a little, unless you find some glass or something. But
or you start going Native American on it and start chipping it,
at arrowheads,
scratching it.
Another cool way to procure food is you can dig a hole, cover it with leaves, put some bait on top. Something can come through, grab that bait, fall in that hole. As long as that hole's deep enough to where it can't get out, you got food. I mean, there's a lot of ways to get food once you're out there without having to have a firearm or any kind of weapon.
Yep.
And that comes with knowledge.
All right. Sorry.
There's a lot of good books out there on survival too. I know we were talking earlier in the week about different books and stuff, and I'll go ahead and tell you right now, 2 books that I keep in my bag at all times. Number 1, the Boy Scout Handbook, and number 2, the Army. Yeah, exactly. And number 2, the Army Survival book. You were talking about snares, Mike. There's a lot of good. They got probably 3 pages full of just the different snares, different types of snares that you can make, and traps and stuff like that out of nothing.
If you can find the really old Boy Scout handbooks, they're hard to find, but man, I tell you what, the stuff that's in them is amazing. The ones they get today aren't nowhere near as good as the ones we got when we were kids.
And that's the one that I got. I actually have my old one, which is from, I got it back in the late 80s, and I think it was actually copyrighted back in the early 80s, late 70s, something like that.
I've been trying to locate one, and I can't locate one to save my life.
They're on eBay. I know they are. Because mine's about to fall apart, and I was looking for a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I keep in mind isn't the actual Boy Scout book, but the Boy Scout field book.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys remember there was actually 2 books. There was the official one that you had to have that had all your badges and community service and all that stuff in, but then you also had the field book, because there are going to be skills in there that we don't practice every day.
No.
I mean, I don't ride horses, but you know what? In a survival situation, if there's a horse available, I'm going to break open that book and go, okay, how do I put this saddle on, and how do I figure out how to ride them?
Yeah, right. Definitely. There's a lot of cool things in those books.
Even something as simple, not just with that, but I don't know how many of you guys are rock climbers, but if you have to rappel down a rock, do you know how to make yourself a Swiss seat?
I've seen it done. I've never tried it. There's a lot of cool ways you can do it. I know it's painful in the groin, but you can do it.
And I'm scared of heights.
The Boy Scout Field Manual has it.
Does it really?
Yep.
That's awesome.
All right, next one on that I have kind of on my list as being important is first aid. Again, we're going with stuff that that's going to be hard to procure out when you leave your place. And first aid is one of them. And this is where a lot of people tend to really deviate. Buy it pre-made, make it yourself.
Yeah, what I did was I bought a small Coleman from Walmart. It's just a little $5 pouch, and it had you know, it's got the run-of-the-mill stuff in it. But I took a lot of that stuff out and put stuff that I wanted in there, because I do carry a bandana. I do carry an extra towel, you know, small hand towel in there that I can use as a gauze or something to those situations. So I don't need a bunch of big giant gauze pads, you know.
Yeah, I kind of went similar to that, where I bought a pre-made that had a bunch of stuff that you know, was a lot easier than me packing it myself, such as Band-Aids, gauze, tweezers, stuff like that. But then I also added stuff myself that I think was important. For one, an EpiPen, because you never know when you may end up getting attacked by a bunch of bees, even if you're not allergic. It could, you know, an EpiPen, just in case. It fits right in there. Doesn't take up any more room in the pack than the actual first aid kit itself. I also put Benadryl in there along with the EpiPen.
Yep.
I put antibiotics in there. I keep antibiotics at home. I have a condition called MRSA, and you never know when it's going to break out. It tends to break out in high-stress situations. Well, what's higher stress than survival?
I do carry antibiotics in my bag as well. Also, duct tape I carry in my bag that you can use as a way to stop a bleed or, you know, attach something. If you have a large cut, you can use that duct tape as, you know, instead of carrying that medical tape that just falls apart, you know, when you're trying to use it. Medical grade super glue is a good thing to have in there.
Or just super glue in general. I mean,
Yeah, you can use
I've done
just
that many
super glue.
times. You know, in my job, I work around sheet metal a lot, and you're getting some deep cuts all the time.
And that's small. I mean, I have that in that little pouch, you know.
A little bit
Yeah.
goes a long way.
And then some of the other things that I have in there, I have painkillers, and I'm not talking just. I do keep Excedrin migraine in there, because one of the signs of lack of water, lack of sleep, stress, and heat all have in common: wicked headaches.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I keep Excedrin migraine, probably the off-name brand, but you know, that in there. And then I also keep some painkillers that were prescribed to me for dental surgery that I had.
Yeah, because you never know if you fall and break your hand or a finger, and that pain's excruciating. I mean, use it. No sense in being in pain and trying to figure shit out.
Exactly. And that is one thing. When you're in pain, you tend not to think straight.
Yep.
That's one thing I'm kind of lacking in, is the first aid stuff, and I really should, because I go on hikes a lot, so you never know. Even if you twist your ankle or something, you gotta. I mean, twisting your ankle isn't as bad as what could happen, but just anything, a little cut. I don't even have a Band-Aid or anything. Little, for even if I get a little cut, so I should definitely put something in there.
Another cool thing that I keep in my med bag too that not a lot of people think about, if you're going to be doing a lot of walking, I keep a little bit of moleskin, because if you're going to be doing a lot of walking, blisters will happen, and that moleskin will, I mean, when your feet hurt, you know, I walk all day long being a mailman, and there's nothing worse than having blisters on the back of your feet while you're trying to walk up a hill or down a hill. That moleskin will save you. You know, I just have just a small strip I put in there, just enough to cover the backs of my ankles or a toe or whatever. And
you know, the duct tape can actually come in handy for that too.
Yeah. I keep a roll of duct tape. Yeah.
That's what I always use rather than moleskin when I hike. Is when I start feeling a hot spot on my foot, I actually take a piece of duct tape and duct tape over it.
Yeah.
And for me personally, that works better than moleskin.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Duct tape fixes everything.
And it does, man.
You could even make a boat. I've seen it done.
But the only thing it's not good for, that it doesn't work on, is ductwork, which it's actually designed for.
Isn't that funny?
It's
Yeah.
the craziest thing.
Yeah. Oh well.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't keep duct tape in there. I use another name
put the
brand
T
that's
in
stronger than duct tape. You know, I trust the Gorilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that stuff's good. I haven't
It's real
tried
good.
it.
The Gorilla Glue stuff will hold forever, man.
And Gorilla tape is great.
Yeah.
I love it. much stronger than duct tape. So let's see, what else do we got in our survival bags?
Well, let me cover my first aid real quick, too.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
I've got this little bag here. Looks kind of big, but it's really not. It's soft, so it kind of squishes down in the bag and compacts pretty nicely, but there's a lot of stuff in it. You know, it's got aspirin, it's got antibiotic ointments, it's got a cold compress, you know, it's got gloves, it's got everything you need in a first aid kit. But one thing, and I actually did a video on this. This is a snake bite kit right here. This is really important, especially out here in the Midwest, at least, because we have copperheads and rattlesnakes, and it's got everything you need in here. That actually you can use this compartment here as the suction, and it's got a razor, and it's got string, and it's got a little cleansing wipe thing in there too. So that's something that it's real important around here, because I've actually had experiences, not myself, but family members that have gotten bit by copperheads, and that's a bad deal. And if you can't get to, you know, antivenom pretty quick, I mean, there's not a high fatality rate of them, but it can screw you up pretty bad, you know, your nervous system and stuff.
There was, I'll tell a quick story. On my drive back from Oregon to Michigan, I drove the northern route, which took me through Montana. And in the middle of the night, like, basically what happened I followed the GPS, which took me off the interstate and took me down what I guess were highways, but for being highways, I didn't pass people for hours upon hours upon hours. And it was basically rolling hills of, I don't know, cattle pastures. And in the middle of the night, I was getting tired, and I was starting to get that zone feeling where you feel like you're in a tunnel. And I knew I needed to pull over. I had my dog in the back seat riding with me, and I need to let him out and run around. So I let him out, and I let him run around, and all of a sudden his ears perk up because he heard something out in the tall grass, and he starts going after it. And as I'm walking with him, all of a sudden it dawned on me, wait a minute, I'm still in rattlesnake country. Grabbed the dog. Dog didn't want to come with me. I actually had to grab him and half drag him back to the car and leash him up to the car. And I'm like, and we're going to stay, like, on the road. We're going to walk up and down the road together.
Nice.
But that's why I'm a firm believer in having dogs and, you know, accompaniment of dogs, you know, when you're out hiking or whatever, because they will alert you to, and they may try to go after them, but at least they're going to alert you to anything that might, you know, could cause you harm. You know, I mean, like out here we got possum. Possum are mean. They are some nasty creatures, and, you know, they see a dog, they'll usually run the other way and run up a tree.
And big feet are afraid of dogs.
They are. Nice. This is squash.
All right.
And I know it sounds gross, but if you need some source of food,
Yep.
Yeah.
Last resort, but I would do
absolute last resort, in my opinion.
yeah, I mean it would be last
It would
resort,
be.
but-
It would be right up there with, you know, kind of like eating your own child to me.
Yep.
I could do that.
Nah.
Yeah, we all know that.
My theory is cut parts of my thigh off and cook that first.
Like bacon.
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing that I don't get. We're kind of going on a tangent now back to a very early episode of the Evolution of the Apocalypse, where you guys were talking about, you know, what body part would you cut off and eat. Here's the thing. When you're starving, the act of starvation, quite literally, is your body eating itself. So why would you cut off a body part to eat it when you're getting that same amount of nutrition and more by the simple act of starvation and your body metabolizing and breaking itself down?
Mm-hmm. It actually tells you in the Army.
I don't know.
Think about it.
It was a topic. I mean,
No, on that note, though, they actually say in the Army Survival book that your body fat will be equivalent to two good meals per day of calories or whatever, as it breaks it down. So that's why you can last like 3 weeks, you know, without food.
Right. Yeah, because what it does is your body, it goes into what's known as a ketonic state. I actually took a nutrition class, that's why I know this. It goes into a ketonic state, and what the ketonic state does is it starts metabolizing portions of your body because it wants to keep two main things alive. One is your brain, and the other is your heart. And in order to do that, what it does is it starts breaking things down in order, and it'll start breaking down first the fat in your body, and that's why we have fat. That's part of the reason why we have fat, is to be able to break that down first. Then after it breaks down the fat, then it'll start breaking down the unneeded muscle tissue. Then it'll start breaking down the needed muscle tissue. Then it'll start breaking down the like your liver and stuff like that. And then it'll start that's when you start dying, is once it gets to that point. Once you get to the point where it starts breaking down muscle, that's when real death starts setting in, but you still have a little bit to go.
That's when you start flaying your legs.
That's when you start cutting off the leg.
Cool.
And
No, I'm not saying cut off the leg. I'm just saying, you take your knife and get a little sliver off your leg and cook it like bacon.
Take a little off the ass.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it tastes like chicken.
All right. Next one that I have in here is shelter. So we went food, water, medical, shelter. Shelter is one that, to me, I don't really carry. I have an emergency blanket that can be used as shelter, and I also have an old rain fly off of a tent. Because to me, shelter isn't that important because there's shelter everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Jason. I have 3 or 4 survival blankets, and that's pretty much all I've got as far as shelter. I've got some large plastic bags, but like you said, I can make a lean-to. I mean, there's plenty of woods, and I have my carnivore camelists and chop down some limbs and make a lean-to or whatever. I mean, we've got caves out here too, so I mean.
Well, and to me, you've got your car, you've got other people's cars, you've got abandoned houses, you could take a trash can, turn it on its side, and you've got a makeshift shelter. The main thing with a shelter is doing 2 things: getting you out of the elements and conserving the heat. And so.
Now, I do carry a 6x8 tarp in my bag, but it folds up real small. I mean, it's the size of a sheet of paper. And there's a couple of reasons why, really, that I have it more than just shelter. I can use it to collect water if it's raining. I can use it to create a solar still. If I'm around salt water, you can actually use that to create a solar still. So I do carry a 6x8 tarp, but it's more than just a shelter to me. It serves more purposes than just that.
And that's kind of one thing, too, to talk about, too, is that a lot of stuff that you notice we have in our bag has more than one purpose, with the exception of antibiotics.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everything in your bag should have multi-purpose. I mean, that's that's the trick, is thinking of multiple ways to use the stuff ahead of time. Yep.
Now, personal hygiene. Do you guys carry anything with personal hygiene?
Yeah, I have a thing of
Mike doesn't do that on a normal day, so.
Yeah.
I do actually carry. I have a small thing of hand sanitizer.
I do carry that, because that'll burn, too.
I do have a thing of camp soap. And then I've also got, I have toothpaste, small thing of toothpaste and toothbrush. Not necessarily for brushing my teeth, but, I mean, there's multiple uses. I think, Mike, you talked about that on one of your shows. I mean, toothpaste is actually a really good polishing compound. And the toothbrush can be used for, polishing out something to make a reflector signal, or, something to start a fire. But it can also be used to clean your weapon, clean a gun, whatever. So.
If you have the right toothpaste, it'll actually catch fire.
Really?
That's kind of scary.
And soap. Certain soaps will catch fire, too.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, I carry one thing, with all of that. I do have toothbrush and toothpaste in there, because the one thing that I am afraid of happening is getting a really bad cavity or worse, getting like an abscessed tooth and not having a dentist to go to pull it for me.
Yeah. And believe it or not, if you do get a toothache and that tooth starts hurting and you don't want to take that, like you said you had painkillers. If you don't want to take that entire painkiller, cut it in half, crush it up, stick it inside on top of that tooth and let it sit there for a few minutes. It'll actually numb the tooth, which is, another little trick.
Kyle, anything to add?
I know it's not multi-purpose, but I would probably carry deodorant.
Because he wants to smell
Well, no, I mean, just imagine 3 days without having a shower,
Who cares?
I know, but if you already have a headache and then you smell your armpit, it might make it a lot worse.
Dude,
But
I think
also,
that's the line of the podcast.
he's trying to impress the female Bigfoot.
well, and also, it's really small, so the fact that it's not really a
That's what she said.
the fact that it's not really a multi-use, it's nail clippers. Just because having a hangnail or anything like that's got to be really annoying if you don't want to get it caught on something if you're trying to climb up a hill or something like that. I mean, my multi-tool has one of those nail trimmer things, or the file, yeah.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I was gonna say, or scissors too. I mean, on your multi-tool.
Yeah.
Got scissors, but
Well, mine doesn't have scissors.
I mean, I actually have cut my toenails with a buck knife before.
and,
So
and, you know, it sounds stupid though, but on what you were just saying about your toenails, though, I mean, you've got to keep them trimmed, or else you can start getting holes in your socks and stuff. I mean, it sounds gross, it sounds dumb, but it's true. I mean,
yeah, there's certain things you do have to pay attention to. You know, like I wear glasses. I don't really wear them a lot, but carry an extra set in your bag. You know,
exactly.
Yeah, carry an extra contact case, contact solution, extra contacts.
One thing that I've actually, while we were just sitting here talking about all this stuff, one thing that I'd like to add to my bag, I think, is get those little mini bottles grab a couple mini bottles of vodka and keep them in the bag, because like what you guys were saying about toothaches, you got a toothache, you take a cotton ball and soak it in vodka or any type of alcohol, put it up against it, and also too, it acts as an antiseptic as well.
like
And it'll start a fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And worst case scenario, it's something to trade.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Or you can just get so drunk that you don't even know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
That's also good too. That actually brings us to something that not many people talk about, which is you do need some sort of release when it comes to survival, whether that be alcohol, tobacco, porn, whatever. But the thing is when you're in a high stress situation, you do need some way of breaking that high stress, that tension, and having some mini bottles of alcohol may sound dumb to some people, but it's actually a good idea because it is multi-purpose, and or you can drink yourself into a stupor one night just to kind of it gets you back into normalcy later on.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is coming off of that, another thing that I like to keep in my bag is books. I have a couple of my favorite books, and I keep those in there with the Boy Scout Handbook and the Survival Guide and stuff. Just for a little bit of, like you said, bringing it back to a little bit of normalcy.
Yeah, and like this is going to sound really gross, but chewing tobacco, believe it or not, it is a release, but also it also acts as an antiseptic. You can use the tobacco itself as an antiseptic if you know how to moisten it, which if you got chewing tobacco, it's already moistened, it will clean, and you can use the tin for holding, if you're catching like grubs or insects, you can use the tin to put those into to travel with. So.
And it gets rid of worms too.
What does?
Tobacco.
It does?
Yeah, if you get worms, and we used to give it to horses. If they get worms real bad, you
Doesn't
can
it
actually
burn your stomach though?
Not really. I mean,
No?
it's not too bad. I actually have a bag of Red Man Chew, the big leaf stuff in my bag. I keep that in there for like what Jason was saying, for one, for bartering if I had to. But number two, you were saying there's multiple uses for everything. I also heard that You can use tobacco for like bee stings and stuff like that too.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
All right. One of the things that many people, this is one of the first things that people tend to put in their bag, which is fire starting, keeping warm. And so the question is what do you put in your bag and why?
I'll go first.
okay.
I have just... Well, I don't know if you guys can see. I had the basic, Adam, you did a video on one of these. Just a magnesium. But I also have the Aurora. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet or not. It's a 2A. It's a striker. And you just, hit it and it lights a fire up. It's got magnesium built into it. And I keep that with a can opener on a keychain that I'll attach. And it's all there. I keep it all together so I don't lose it. That's my fire starting kit right there. Next.
Well, I'll go next. I do the same thing. I have a magnesium bar that I keep with me. One thing to look out for when it comes to magnesium bars, don't go for the ultra cheap at Walmart or on like Amazon or something, because it's not real magnesium on the back. It's like magnesium mixed with other stuff, and it doesn't scrape off as easily, and it doesn't light as easily. The whole point of a magnesium over something just as a Swiss lighter is that you have that magnesium to help, because magnesium burns, I think, at 5,000 degrees.
And a lot of people buy those magnesium starters and not realize that you have to scrape that magnesium off first. And they think they just hit that thing and create a spark and you're good to go. That magnesium is what's going to catch on fire. That's what's going to get hot.
Well, the magnesium, what I do is I still make a normal fire bundle, and inside of that fire bundle is where I scrape all of my magnesium. So ideally, that fire bundle is what catches a spark. But when I blow and it lights that magnesium, it's that magnesium that burns so hot to catch the tinder on top of it.
Yep.
But besides that, I do also carry a Zippo lighter, because you know what? Why mess around with sparks when I can just light it?
That's true. I do have a Bic lighter in mine too as well, but that's I use that last.
Do you keep it protected at all? Because it's just plastic. It seems like it could break pretty easily.
You see my waterproof box, Kyle, that I have?
Is that what you put it in?
I keep all that stuff, that kind of stuff. Anything that can get wet or any kind of maps that I have, I put all that stuff inside that waterproof box. It's a small waterproof box.
See, I do the same thing with a Tupperware box, and then
Same thing.
Yeah.
And then I tape around the edges. But even with the Zippo, the reason that I like that over top of a Bic lighter, Bic lighters are nice. The reason I like the Zippo is because I don't have to hold my thumb to have it light. So I can actually use it for actual light if I need to. I can use it to heat something. I can set it down, which is what I like. And what I do is when it's closed up, it's essentially 2 pieces of metal. So I just take a piece of electric tape and put the electric tape around the seam, and it's waterproof.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice. Yeah, I actually have probably way too many. Well, I know there's really no such thing as too many, but I have multiple ways of fire. I keep a bag of steel wool in there with 9-volt batteries. I have a 9-volt. I have a couple AA's, a couple AAA's, just for use them for multiple things. I keep this, and this was all in that video that I did too a couple episodes ago. But I keep this little weatherproof tube. It's actually empty right now. I need to refill it. But I keep those camp stoves, little fire little tablets.
Esbit.
Yeah. I break those up, and I can fit 5 or 6 of the half pieces of those in here, and those things burn for like
forever.
For like 8 minutes, I think, or something like that, which is plenty long enough.
I keep those things inside my waterproof boxes as well.
Yeah, they're great to have. And you could even, if you wanted to save them, you could even just break even smaller chunks off of them just to get a fire going. I have, as you can see, I use the crap out of this thing. This is my magnesium. I found out the hard way with what you were saying, Jason. I went to Walmart and I bought the Coleman or whatever the hell brand it is, and I got it home and I went to try it, and I couldn't get it to ignite. It didn't stay lit. So I actually found this one. I'm gonna do a shameless plug real quick. This is actually made by a company called Doan. It's DOAN, and they're right here. They're actually in I think they're in Ohio. It looks like, and this is pretty much pure magnesium with the flint, and it's got a lifetime warranty on it too. So if the flint ever comes off or anything like that, send it back and get a new one. So, and then I found this, Mike, I think I sent you a picture of it one time. It's a little 12-hour candle.
Yeah.
And it actually works pretty good, but it's got 3 wicks in it. But multiple uses for this. I mean, obviously you can use it for light. You can actually use it for heat if you're in a small enough space. But you can also use the wax, too, for other things. If you have matches or something, you can melt it down, dip the matches in it, and throw them in your bag, and they're weatherproof.
Is that a solid? Is that like a tin?
Yeah,
metal,
this is a
metal top, metal bottom.
Yeah,
so when you get done now, you can actually make a char cloth. I talked about on a video that I did how to make a char cloth. You basically just burn a piece of cotton inside that tin, and if you need to like fire, you hit a spark to that char cloth, and it'll ignite really easy.
Exactly. Yeah, and then also too, looking at it, I can use the tin. So yeah.
Yeah, you can do a lot of things with those.
One thing that you touched on that I forgot to mention that I do keep in there is I do keep steel wool. I don't have a 9-volt battery, but the nice thing about steel wool, and you go with the 4 zeros. That's the one that you want because it's got oil mixed into it. That's actually what I use for my fire bundle. It's a lot easier than going around and trying to scavenge in the woods or scavenge someplace for leaves and stuff like that to try to fluff up and to catch. You take that steel wool, you take off a chunk, it'll catch a spark, and that stuff burns hot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it works well.
So,
I have.
Kyle, I think we skipped you.
Yeah, that's all right. I have one of those knives that on the back you just kind of strike the striker here.
Yeah.
And,
right, and what you're actually demonstrating is a Swiss lighter.
Okay.
So basically a Swiss lighter, go ahead and hold that up again, Kyle. A Swiss lighter, that part right there, is basically a magnesium bar without the magnesium.
Yeah, it strikes. I mean, it took like 2-3 times to like kind of scrape the stuff off, and then as soon as it's off, it sparks pretty good actually. So, and then it's just straight steel. So I mean, you could use it to pry. The blade doesn't get that sharp, but you could use it to pry things, or the point's pretty sharp if you want to just stab it into something. And so I mean, it was only like $6 or something on Amazon. So.
Right. The thing to remember, like I said, when it comes to the magnesium bars, don't go for the $3 ones. In what I've seen, if you don't want to buy it from Doan like Adam did, go down to an actual sporting goods store that has a camping and hiking section, and look for a magnesium bar that, I mean, it's going to run you close to $10.
Yeah, I think I paid like $12 for mine. I did get it off of Amazon, I believe.
That's still not that bad.
But $12, I mean, for what? And I've used it a lot, as you can see. You don't take much. They say when you scrape it, you want about the size of a quarter of shavings, and that's all you need.
And a real magnesium bar, the shavings actually come off really easily. The fake ones, you're going to feel like you're scraping it and nothing's happening. Mm-hmm. So you'll know when the first time you try scraping, if you're getting off nice, good flakes off of that thing, you've got real magnesium. If you're scraping it and it feels like you're just scraping a piece of metal.
There are YouTube videos, because I actually got on there and was looking at them. There's one in particular, the guy does a really good demonstration of side-by-side differences between the cheap magnesium and the good Doan or U.S.-made pure magnesium bars. And it's amazing to see the difference. Oh, yeah.
And the nice thing about magnesium, you can actually use that to fire a propellant. It burns so hot. Mm-hmm. So if you can, kind of like gunpowder, if you put it into like a tube or something like that and can light it from the back, it'll not explode, but it'll heat up so fast that it'll actually shoot stuff.
Yeah. Nice. Combustion.
Yep. All right, next thing that I have on my list of stuff is lighting. And we're kind of running out of time. We're going over an hour right now. I think we're already over an hour, but lighting is another big thing. And I'm going to start off by saying I go simple. I don't go with mag lights. I don't go with anything very special. I used a simple headlamp that I think I got for maybe $10 at a big box store. And to me, a nice small LED flashlight or headlamp works perfect.
Me and Kyle have the exact same flashlight. It works great. I mean, $35 on Amazon might sound kind of high, but it's going to last you. It's a streamlight.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's awesome.
Streamlight, by the way, is a great brand. That's actually a brand that, for a long time, only sold to the military and law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can tell it is tactical looking. So, I mean, for $35, you think it's expensive, but you look at some of those really nice tactical ones, they're like $120. So $35 is almost nothing compared to that.
Yeah,
I have a Streamlight Stinger from my time working in law enforcement, and this is before LEDs became popular. And this thing, I can't remember how many lumens it actually had, but the thing was, probably less than a foot long, and it looked like a spotlight. Now, the thing would only last maybe about 25 minutes, but it had the power of a spotlight, so I'd have that, and I could shine that thing, and man, I could see 100 yards away.
Yeah, the one me and Kyle have is 170 lumens, which isn't bad for the size of it.
It's pretty damn bright. I mean, you could be in a completely dark room and turn it on; it'll light up the whole room.
Yeah. I use now the line of work that I'm in a lot of basements and stuff like that, so flashlights are really important to my job. So I'm really picky about the flashlights I get, and let me tell you, I got this light off of Amazon. It's this one here. It's made by Cree. It's got an LED in it, and the nice thing about it is it takes one AA battery. This thing is like 400 lumens, and it's an LED, and it also this slides in and out, so you can zoom, you can tighten in.
For those of you listening, go ahead to our website and you'll be able to see what he's talking about.
But what I like about it too is that the lens, which is I guess convex to magnifies, it actually comes off, so I could use this as a fire starting method too. Yep. So I mean, and I picked this thing up for like $5 on Amazon, super cheap, and I have another one that I use every day and all day long, and I beat the crap out of it, and it still works just fine. So there again, cheaper can be sometimes
if you
better.
Can get the right thing.
How much did you say it was?
It was like $5.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was super cheap, and like I said, it takes one AA battery, so those things you can find those things anywhere.
The other thing to think about light, too, that not many people think about is if you have too much light, that means you're also drawing attention.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't necessarily want that to happen either. So, yeah, when it comes to emergency lighting, think small. Outside of that, I also do have a package of glow sticks.
I do carry one. I carry the battery-powered glow stick, though. Just because it's also a flashlight as well as a signal flash and a glow stick and a whistle.
And the nice thing too is you can turn them off.
Yeah.
What I like about the original chemical glow sticks is that I can actually throw them in water if I need to.
I don't know if the one I got is waterproof or not. I'll have to check.
So the chemical ones, I used to be a lifeguard, and when we had to, thankfully we never had to search for a dead body, but when we had to practice it, we would take them glow sticks and we would break them and strap them to our arms, and when we had to dive down to the bottom of the lake, you had some light down there to be able to see.
That's a good idea. That's a great idea.
So, all right, that's about it for the major stuff. I want to do kind of a rapid fire of things that you have that you think, oh, one thing I didn't cover that I wanted to. Protection. Always have protection, and I'm not talking Trojans. So I do carry, I don't keep it in my bug out bag because I actually keep it in my safe next to my bed, but it would be my Springfield XD40 with a extended clip on there, and I also keep a extra clip on next to my bed that I can grab, and I keep a box of 50 rounds in my bug out bag.
Nice. I carry, as you can see right here, Springfield XD as well. Kind of hard to get the camera right. I do have the tactical flashlight on the front of mine as well. It's the same width as the flashlight, and that's my bug out bag weapon, as well as like a machete and a knife. Of course, everybody's got those things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I should actually be more specific with mine. Mine's a compact. I don't have the full size.
I got the service model, and it's a 9mm, but it has a 20-round double stack clip. So I mean, I'm good to go.
See, in my extension clip, because mine's a compact, only gives it 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a Ruger SR9C that I keep in mine. I have a Ruger LC9 that I keep in my EDC bag, and then I've got the old slingshot.
Yep.
Can't go wrong with that.
I showed mine for the show and tell last week. It's the Smith & Wesson SD9, 16-1, and just got a couple knives. Just got for my show and I'll wait till the show and tell for the end to show what I got.
So that was the what. Now the why. So why do I keep a firearm with me? Well, because personal protection of my family, to me, is more important. Everything in my bug out bag is useless when somebody that isn't prepared is trying to take me out for my gear or my supplies, or worst case scenario, trying to get to somebody in my family.
Yeah, I mean, I said my bug out bag is a lifeline, and you need to protect that lifeline. So that's what I'll use to protect that lifeline.
Exactly. And for hunting game and stuff like that. I mean, a handgun isn't really going to be good for long distances, but if I come across a snake or something, for one, I'm going to kill him to keep him from biting me. But number two, I'm going to blast him in the head, and I'm going to eat him.
Yep.
So
All right.
That'd be a tough shot.
Yeah, I've never tried shooting a snake. I don't know if I.
Well, they make snake shot too. I mean, they make the snake shot 22s. They make them in 9mm and 45s and stuff. The little beads.
Yeah, they're doing with 410s.
Yeah,
I have a 410 that we shoot snakes with quite a bit when I go up to PA. So.
See, in Michigan, we don't really have snakes. Supposedly, we have a rattler snake, but in my entire life, basically living in the woods, I've never ran across one.
You guys are lucky.
I've had them come in my house before.
I will
not rattle, but snakes. 6 foot.
I will preface that I have never seen one in the woods. When I worked for the Department of Natural Resources, I have gone to calls where there was a family of rattlesnakes in somebody's basement. And that's when I walk down and I kind of look around and I hear the rattle, and then I leave and say, and we're calling an exterminator.
Yep.
All right. So with all of that, let's kind of go around. Anything we didn't touch on that you think is important to have in there? I kind of went with, what I think is the necessities. Everything else to me is more about personal preference and environmental. So you may have a dusk mask in there. I have one in mind, but that's only if there's a reason for a dusk mask.
Yeah. And, one thing we didn't touch on a little bit is pre-made bags. You can go out and buy a pre-made bag. You get what you pay for, though. I mean, you can spend $60-$70 on a pre-made bag, but it's not really going to have much in it. If a company like Echo Sigma, we're going to do a review on one of their bags coming up, and you get what you pay for. And I'm going to be putting that bag through the test. Me and Kyle have some ideas, and we're going to see what it's made of. So, and those bags aren't cheap. So,
but they are available. So
they are available. If you want to go that route, you can definitely go the pre-made bag route. Just do a little bit of research. Know what you're buying when you buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of people are against pre-made stuff, but just like what I said about the first aid kit, pre-made isn't bad because it gets you the gear that you absolutely need generally.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, so you don't have to spend. You'll spend money, but you don't have to spend effort getting what you need.
Exactly. If you're,
and then you can customize it after that.
Yeah, I mean, or if you want to buy something for your wife or something just to throw in her car, you can buy one of those bags and just chuck in there and not think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know.
One thing on my list that we didn't talk about that's extremely important: toilet paper.
Yeah.
No, but really, I mean, toilet paper is important because number one, you can use it as a kindling, you know, and also hygiene too. But baby wipes too is something that's good to toss in your bag if you can.
And if you can get one of those small like travel baby wipe containers, you can put like 50 or so in there, and they're thin, take up no weight, and they burn because they got alcohol in them.
You're a pyro, Mike. Everything burns. Toothpaste, soap.
It burns.
Water and fire, man. Those are, you know, you need water and you need fire.
That's all Mike cares about: water and fire. Everything else, nah.
Good to go.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, anything else? I know some of the other things that I have in there. I have a little bit of cash, just in case, you know, I need it. I have some contact phone numbers, some in case, you know, in case we still have phone service, and my cell phone runs out because I don't know anybody's number.
Nobody knows anybody's number anymore.
No,
not
anymore.
I keep an extra hat in there because I have a
yeah.
bald head. I keep sunscreen in there because
Yeah, I was just
don't
going to
like
say, what
getting
about
sunburn.
sunscreen?
Yep, I keep sunscreen in there because I don't like getting sunburn. Let's see, some of the other stuff that I already talked about, my dust mask.
Extra socks.
I keep extra socks. Yes,
Well,
I don't keep an extra change of clothes, but I keep extra socks.
Yeah.
And then I also keep I keep an extra pair of shoes in there because I have the room, and when my hiking boots, which are actually my policeman's boots, you don't want to wear them all the time. It's nice to be able to just wear some tennis shoes,
Yeah.
even if they're old, broken down ones.
You know, I know we all have paracord bracelets, but keep a little bit of extra paracord in your bag. Never hurts.
Definitely. Now, here's a good idea that was actually a friend of my wife's told me this, and she's not into survival or prepping or anything like that, but she actually had a really good idea. She said, why not have, like, photo IDs in your bag, just so if you get lost or something happens, you know, people know who you are. If something happens
If you pull a born identity.
Yeah. But she also had a really good idea as to have your family wear, like, just normal clothes or what they might have in their bug out bag or something like that, and have a picture of, like, you and your family in those clothes, so that way, let's say, because then you know, we all have kids, well, besides you, Kyle.
I don't, yeah.
But still, I mean, you know, your wife, your girlfriend, your kids, whatever. I mean, if they would get lost or stray off, you know, they're not going to know. I mean, they may not be recognizable in a nice family photo, as opposed to something that's just kind of normal, the way they look or the way they may look in a survival situation. So I thought that was a really
great
cool
idea.
tip,
The other thing with that is that I don't know about you guys, but I don't have actual pictures of my family. Everything's on my phone or on a computer, or you know, I don't. It's not like it used to be where, you know, you got pictures taken, you developed them, and you hung them up
or stick them in your wallet. Yeah, nobody carries pictures in their wallets anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Rick Grimes keeps them in his cop car, though.
I keep I keep extra batteries in there. I do keep. I also have a two-way radios.
I do.
I have a set of two-way radios that I keep in there. Mine are actually. I should check them at some point because they're like 15-year-old Motorola talkabouts. Yeah. But I keep them in there because the way I look at it is, hey, you know what? Cell service may not work, and I may have to leave the group to go hunting or to go scavenging, to go scouting, to do whatever, and it's the best way to stay in communication.
Yep. I keep messenger pigeons in mine. I'm going old school.
He's got that Falcon.
That's right.
Kyle's got a messenger turtle.
Snail mail.
Yeah, I put messages in a bottle.
But he doesn't live by the water.
Yeah, I just chuck them in the street. Someone will find it.
I'm here.
Oh yeah, and then I'm trying to think of some of the other stuff that we didn't cover. You know, I keep garbage bags in there.
Yeah.
To me, garbage bags is another good one that for quite a few different reasons. One, collect water. You can use them as shelter. You can use them for a lot of different reasons. One thing that you may not know, you can actually use them by wrapping them around a tree branch with the leaves. And the heat from the sun will make the tree sweat, and you can collect fresh water that way.
And
fresh, clean water.
If somebody in your group dies, you can put them in the bags and duct tape them up and don't have to smell them.
That too.
Go. I'm just saying. Just throwing it out there.
So there's a lot of stuff that we covered, and there's going to be a lot of other stuff that wasn't covered.
And we'll cover it eventually.
Yeah, and that's the thing when it comes to a bug-out bag is you can't cover everything. That's why there's lists all over on what to put on your bug-out bag, is because everybody's got their own opinions, and we want to hear from you guys by calling us and leaving us a message at 507-339-PREP. That's 507-339-7737. To let us know what you keep in your bug-out bag or what you intend to. We didn't go over knives, so now is a good time to actually go over our show and tell of the week. And we're going to start this one off with Kyle, because I know he has something that he really wants to show.
Yes, I'm really excited about this one. SOG jungle knife.
I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's basically a mini machete. It's 15 inches long total. The blade is 9.5. I'm doing a quick review on it. Editing the video now, just to see how sharp it is out of the box. But eventually, I'm going to do like a full review. Mike and I have some ideas, and Adam he's given me some ideas, but I actually don't want to break it though.
Send it to me. Send it to me.
No,
we know what happens when they go to Adam.
Yeah, if you buy me another one, I'll let you do it.
You don't get it back when it goes to Adam.
Oh, you get it back. You get it back.
It'll be in 4 different pieces.
That's right. I've been able to tear
he
stuff
will
up.
find the breaking point of it.
Yeah. He couldn't break my blade.
No, I couldn't.
He broke the
right.
handle.
That's right. Yep.
I guess I'll go next on the show and tell. It's the Aurora Solo Scientific Magnesium Fire Starter. I love this thing, man. I'm going to do a review video on it. It's small, compact, waterproof. It's total magnesium, as Jason was saying. This thing works great, man. I suggest anybody to go out and pick one of these up. They're awesome.
Cool. All right.
Cool.
Well, I'll go next. Mine is something that anybody can get tonight. Simply go down to your favorite hardware store or big box hardware store, and they are mechanics gloves.
Yep.
Because to me, making sure that my hands are safe, I don't want to be getting splinters. I don't know what I might be grabbing. To me, having a good set of mechanics gloves are really good, especially when you're around fire. They're leather on the bottom. They're padded. They got nice breathable backs. They cost maybe $10, $15 at any hardware store, and they can be a lifesaver when you're out in the bush.
Nice.
Adam.
All right, here's mine. Not as exciting, but could definitely save your life. I don't know if you can see this. It is a edible wild plants. This is actually not a book. This is a pamphlet, and it's laminated. It's real heavy, so you just open it up, and it's got. This is for the Midwest area. And
so that would be like my area, all the way to your area.
Yep, pretty much.
Minus me and Kyle's area.
Yeah, minus you guys out on the East Coast.
But it tells you the majority of, I would say, the most common, I guess, because there's a lot of them in here that I've seen that I haven't. There's a lot of them that I haven't seen in here, but it even breaks it down to like leaves and stems and roots and tubers and poisonous plants and berries and bark and all that stuff. So you know, it gives you a wide range of stuff, and it's kind of cool. I mean, I enjoy. I'll go out on a hike and I'll just kind of, you know, look at plants and see if I can find them in here. You know,
And just remember, when it comes to berries, yellow and red make you dead. Purple and blue, good for you.
Yep.
There you go.
Just like leaves of 3, let them be.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of mine. It's but it's I like it because it's thin, it's small, and it's heavy duty, and because it's laminated, it, you know, if it gets wet, it's not going to hurt nothing, and it's, you know, compact, so it fits in my bag, and it's easy to carry around, stick in your back pocket or whatever too.
All right. Any last things before we take off? Don't forget, get a hold of us. Visit our website, which we hopefully will have up and running soon at survivalpreptv.com. Email us at feedback@survivalpreptv.com. Find us on Facebook. I'll get the link out very soon when we actually get the customized link. Give us a call to let us know anything that you want to talk about or that you are doing for survival by calling us at 507-339-PREP. Visit Adam Bradbury, his Roughing It Survivors Journal at youtube.com/real roughin it. That's real, RUFFNIT. Kyle Santee, he's on Facebook. He's also all over with the Evo podcast, doing stuff and work for them. Speaking of Evo, we've got Mike Caldwell. He's the co-host and producer of the Evolution of the Apocalypse podcast, where you can visit him by going to evolutionoftheapocalypse.com. Subscribe to him on iTunes, Stitcher, a lot of other places. Just Google him. You'll find him.
He's everywhere.
If you got an iOS device, download our app.
Absolutely. You got that new cool app. I love it.
Yep.
And I'm Jason Nagy. I'm the co-host of the Creepercast. And you can find me at creepercast.com. All right. See you guys next week when we talk about, we did bugging out. Next week, it's bugging in. Why bug in? See you guys next week.
Later.